This is my love letter to Fuji cameras, specifically the x100 series, and it has nothing to do with technical specifications, but everything to do with what it does for me as a creator. I'm shooting this on the Sony a7 III with a 35mm art lens. I have spent thousands of dollars on this setup because it allows me to do the bulk of my photography work, which meets the standards that my clients who are looking for portrait work expect. But speaking of bulky, even with the camera being much smaller than my old DSLR camera, I rarely find myself wanting to put this in my bag and carry it around all day. The Sony a7 III is a remarkable piece of technology, and believe it or not, it's kind of old already. That's the thing about photography equipment. There's always a new camera body coming out, and it leaves you with the sense that you're always using outdated equipment. Earlier in 2022, I found an x100F on Craigslist. I met a dude in his garage as he tinkered around with one of his motorcycles. I bought the camera, but as I was leaving, he handed me a busted x100s, which is the predecessor of the x100F, the one I just spent $600 on. He told me he didn't have energy to figure out what was wrong with it. I threw it on a shelf and mostly forgot about it for almost an entire year. I only had the $600 x100s for a few weeks, and that was before the reality of being a lower middle class person living in Portland caught up with me. I had to sell it for the money. We needed it for something more important. Last week as I was cleaning, I found the busted x100s and I had a thought. Maybe just buy a battery and see if it at least turns on. So I spent 20 bucks on a new battery, popped it in, when you know, it works just fine. I've been using the camera for the last week, and guess what? It is super slow. When I turn on my Sony, I can grab an image almost instantly. This camera will find and track a human eyeball. Fuji, it often takes me at least 10 seconds to tell the camera what it is I want it to focus on. And then after that, I need probably another 5 seconds to recompose my shot. And a lot of times it seems like I missed the shot that I really wanted. And you know what? I love this about this camera. When I go out into the world with this old Fuji camera, it forces me to slow down. And slowing down, when it comes to photography work, in my book, that's a good thing. The art of photography is about observation. And yes, moments are fleeting, but maybe this camera isn't designed for fast-paced life. This is a tool that forces one into contemplation. And it makes me fall in love with this art form all the more. Here are some images that I've been taking with this camera. I'm going to be using this camera quite a bit. It's going to be the main camera that I'm going to use for this new project I'm calling The New Places. It's a mix of writing, photography, as I set out on this quest in 2023 to pay attention more, to observe more, to slow down, to look, to see things. And I'm happy that I have this slow, clunky, old camera as the physical tool to keep me in that space of observation.